Hey guys, welcome to day 5 of the 14-day challenge. So today we're going to be talking about your morning energy and how your evenings and mornings work together. And so because if your nights and mornings are random, it's almost impossible to know why you feel terrible and what to change next time. So in this live, I'm going to walk you through how a simple structured evening and morning routine makes off days feel real obvious, so you can actually fix them instead of just guessing. So then I'm going to dive into my 5-day power list. So that's going to be what I ate, my water, sleep, movement, and accountability. That's part of this challenge. So you can see how it looks like in a real day. So the 5 critical tasks for the challenge are: stick to the meal plan, which is the strict, moderate, or liberal carb level; the hydration, which is the water and electrolytes; the sleep, so that's my wake time and bedtime for this challenge; my movement, that's my daily workout; and the accountability, that's the post to the thread in my school group. And then I keep this really simple. So at the end of the day, it's either a win or a lose based on these 5 critical tasks. So I'm just going to break down a little bit how my evening and mornings used to look as far as routine, and how they actually shape your energy. So first, my evenings and mornings I'll show you how they looked when I had no structure at all. And so before I had structure, my evenings were just completely random. And I think most people can kind of resonate with that. So my last meal was just whenever I felt like it. I didn't have like really a set dinner time, just whenever I ate. So sometimes nights I'd end up eating dinner and then I would just snack right up until bedtime. And then I'd be on screens until I decided to sleep. So I'd be scrolling, watching something. There was no cutoff or anything at all. And then my bedtime was different every night. So some nights I'd literally stay up to like 3 in the morning and then just sleep super late the next day. Um, so I had no structure or anything there. And then sometimes it was early too. So like it was never really consistent. And then the next morning, I'd wake up like at a different time, like I mentioned. And so I'd end up grabbing up my phone right away as soon as I got up. I'd make my coffee, and then usually I'd have like something like high sugary cereal, or just some sort of high carb breakfast that spiked my insulin first thing in the morning, which is not something that I would ever do now. Um, and I'd basically just stumble about my day with not really having any plan or structure or anything. I would just react to everything. So the result was my mornings always felt terrible, and I never really knew why. Like, obviously, it could have something to do with sleep, stuff like that, but I didn't really know how important it was to set up a proper routine and be consistent with when I woke up and when I went to sleep. And that's kind of why I have that in this challenge, to be able to start getting some structure into your life. So if that's something you might need, then maybe the challenge might be something for you to dive into. Um, but basically, um, that's the way that went when I had no structure at all. So we'll talk a little bit about the structure that I have now. So my evenings usually go with my last meal. I usually eat between 3 and 4 p.m. And then on weekends, it's between 4 and 5 p.m. And then my screens are off with the last 30 minutes at least before bed. Usually I try to get to an hour, but more often it's about 30 minutes. And then I don't do any scrolling or anything until I close my eyes. And then when I get in bed and I'm ready to sleep by 9 p.m. every night. So I make that my target and I treat that like it's an appointment, so I don't miss it for anything. And then my mornings, I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning. As soon as my alarm goes off, I get out of bed, no snoozing, nothing like that. And then I'll hydrate first thing in the morning. So I'll drink 250 milliliters of water with a pinch of organic Baja Gold organic sea salt. So that's the electrolytes. So I'll pound that back right in the morning, and I do notice the difference between when I do it and when I don't. It's actually pretty crazy. So I'd recommend that. And then I get dressed. I take my dog out for a walk. That's non-negotiable. Obviously, my dog needs to be taken out every single day. So that's one of the things that keeps me honest in that regard. Because I know if I didn't have my dog and I didn't have to walk him every single day, I probably wouldn't walk as much as I do now, which is good because I get up, start with some movement, go get some fresh air, that kind of thing. And then when I get back home, I make my bulletproof coffee. And then right after that, I just jump into my office and just start working. So I don't have any like crazy 3 hour morning routine, anything like that. It's just something super simple that I do every single day, just to my day gets set up and I start off on the right foot. So it's not complicated, but it's predictable, and then the predictability is where the magic is. Because why this matters for energy. when my evenings and mornings were random, every bad morning felt like a mystery. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on. So now, because my routine is consistent, my off days stand out. And if I wake up feeling more tired, some heavy, maybe I'm more snacky than usual, I can just rewind the tape and kind of ask myself some questions like, did I eat later than my set time of between being 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 on weekends? Did I have more carbs than usual that night? Did I stay on screens later and push my bedtime past 9? Did I cut my sleep short? Or maybe did I skip my walk? Like if one of these metrics is off, I can kind of go back and be like, oh, okay, maybe that's why. And then I can because my baseline is set. And so if one or two things are changed, it's quite obvious with how I feel. And so I can go back and just say like, oh, maybe that type of dinner this close before bed kind of was something that I don't want to do. Or maybe if I watch Netflix plus had a late night snack and it wrecked my morning, and I'd be like, okay, maybe I'll do something different there. And then I basically just write down just a simple rule for the next time instead of blowing up my whole routine. So like I just mentioned a couple there. And then I can also know if anything I want to add to the routine makes it better or makes it worse. And then because I'm obviously always testing different things and stuff like that, because then it's just one metric that'll help me know if it either helps me or it hurts me as far as like how I feel during my day. So something I'm trying right now, just as an example, is I used to get my workout first thing in the morning. So after I'd come back and walk my dog, I'd go right into my home gym and just get my workout done right in the morning. But what I'm trying now, because I find I'm doing more brain work in the morning. So um, I want to put more time in the morning to the brain work because later in the day, my brain isn't really working as much as it is in the morning. So I wanted to move the workout to the end because for me, physical activity isn't something that like you need to twist my arm to go do. I'd rather do that. And I can do that tired better than I can do brain work when I'm tired. So I'm just giving that a go. So I'm going to try it for a couple of weeks just to see how I feel because um, I'll probably need more time with it than just a day. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're making a switch. You might need to do it a little bit longer than a day. But now I'm going to dive into how my day actually went for the challenge. So first, we're going to start with the meals. So as you can see here, I have my 2 meals, and I'm following the strict protocol here. So my carbs are going to be less than 25 grams per day. And if you've been following me along here, basically, I'm not really putting too much thought to what I'm eating. Like obviously, I'll cook some hamburger for myself to make sure I have something that I can heat up quick and stuff like that. So I'm not just because so I can just like hammer something out. And then but basically, I'm just eating until hungry each of these meals, and it ends up working out like pretty solid as I can see. Because normally I don't even really track anything. I just like pay attention to my carbs, and that's all I'm doing now. Is I'm just paying attention to the carbs, and my calories usually fall in line. My protein usually falls in line, which is 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight. And right now I'm about 185 pounds. I don't want to gain weight. I don't want to lose weight right at the moment. So that's usually falling in line, and that's just literally eating until I'm full for both of these meals. So I just wanted to point that out. It's doesn't have to be difficult or anything like that. You just got to stick to your protein heavy meals, and then your amount of meals per day. And so the next, the second task on it is the water and electrolytes. So for me, it's 3 liters of water per day. I was able to hit that no problem. So that's a win for that. And then my sleep. So the sleep for the challenge is setting your bedtime and setting your wake time, and then you go to bed and you're lying down ready to sleep by the time you set to go to bed. So for me, it's 9 o'clock, and then the morning is 4:30 for my wake up time. So when the alarm goes off and I get up, I just get up and I'm out of bed. And then the movement. So like I kind of mentioned there is I had my movement after work. So I probably by the time I got into the gym, it was probably about 7:30 in the evening, something like that. But I have a home gym, so it's super easy for me to just go downstairs and get a lift in. And so what I have for yesterday was a pull day. So it's pull ups, bent over rows, rear delt, reverse flies, and hammer curls. So it's nothing crazy, anything like that, because I'm more geared to my running that I'm doing because right now my goal is to get a sub 40-minute 10 kilometer right now. So I'm gearing everything there because I just had an injury, so I'm just getting back into it. But I ended up firing that off at the end of the day. And then after my movement, I jumped in and did my accountability post in the group on the thread. So I was able to hammer that off. That's the 5 tasks. So I won the day. And then tomorrow, what I'm going to be talking about is for day 6 is stress and food. So specifically, how to keep your eating steady when life gets a bit chaotic. So I'm going to walk you through the kinds of stress that used to blow up my diet and how I handle it now, and to not rely on just willpower alone because that's just going to just ruin everything for you. And it did for me. So, and then I'm going to go over how to be able to tell the difference between real hunger and just stress eating. So join me for that tomorrow. And then, as always, you can join the Skool group. We're doing the free challenge right now. Everything's free. The resources that you'll need are there. So it'll be food lists, meal plans for the different levels that are there. So that's the strict, moderate, and liberal. And you'll get a step-by-step guide walking you through what the challenge is, everything you need to do, that kind of stuff, super simple. And then the accountability that you're going to get from being in the group from other people doing it. So if you have any other questions or anything like that that you want me to go over in tomorrow's live, be sure to just leave them in the comments. And then make sure to like and subscribe if you thought this was helpful, or maybe even share it with someone who you think needs it. But that's all I've got for you today. So I will see you tomorrow, and you have a good rest of your day.